Good morning, everyone. Couch Counsellor here. I want to talk about a subject. It's like overcoming anxiety and like depression or social anxiety or something like that. Now, if you're like me, going to new places is like really weird. It's really, really weird. You get the nervous butterflies and you're always on edge and you're always like kind of looking over your shoulder and stuff like that. It happens to me. So, for instance, if I go to a pub, I'm always nervous about the surroundings. You know, where the exits in case there's a fire, or are the people here friendly, or is there any like people that are going to cause trouble? Because that's the end thing. Am I going to be injured? Am I going to be in danger? And that's what anxiety is. Am I going to put myself in the way of harm, or is harm going to come to me? And I think with something like that, you kind of got to go through like security sort of checks. Like I said, I always situate myself near an exit, and I never have my back towards the door. I like to see who's coming through, so I like to sit myself in like a corner so no one's behind me, but I can still also see the door, see what sort of people are coming through. This is just an example of a pub, and this is how I overcome my anxiety. And I've got a theory of anxiety anyway. Anxiety is just like an evolution of the brain of more aware. It's like your brain is becoming more aware of your surroundings, but you don't know how to. Oh, what's the word? You don't know how to act upon that extra awareness that you've got. And like I said, this is just my thoughts on this. And you don't know how to deal with that level of nervousness, because that's what anxiety is. It's nerves. It might be a lot more deeper than that, but I'm just going to layman's terms it. Now, a lot of people won't dare do anything like go out, start. They're also nervous of being judged as well, because that's what, I'm a big guy, I'm fat, so I make a point of, if I'm out having a drink, I take my top off and it's like, oh, whoa, dude, I can't believe you just done that. It's like, do you know what? It used to scare me. I used to be worried about what people thought, living in today's society of people being muscular and thin and stuff like that. But if you've got it, flaunt it. And I've got a picture of Bubbles from Trailer Park Boys tattooed on my belly. And you know what? They don't even look at the size of my belly when I get my t-shirt off. They look at Bubbles and they laugh. And that's what it is. It kind of breaks down the barrier and stuff like that. If you're tiny and skinny, get your top off anyway. Just don't get a tattoo of Bubbles. That's just my thing. But yeah, try and be as relaxed as well. Don't if you're nervous, you're not going to throw yourself into a place that is packed full of people if people aren't your thing. So avoid doing that. I'm not saying avoid doing that all the time, but build yourself up to doing that. Go to a cafe where it's old people. Old people are harmless, unless they hit you with the walking stick and Zimmer frames and stuff like that. Then, I don't know, go to a comic book shop. There's a few more people, but again, nerds. So they don't go out for trouble. They're as equally anxious as you, more or less. And then build up to, I don't know, going to a bus station. Instead of going to a bus stop, go to a bus station where there's more people, which is like more random. You don't know what sort of walks of life are in there. And like I said, just sit with your back towards a wall, but make sure you've got a view of all the openings and stuff, and you can see what sort of people are coming in. But keeping calm, having a deep breath. If you feel like a panic attack's coming along, just remember, they're not there. People aren't going to go out of the way to harm you or something like that. You do get some sort of dickheads that will mug you. And then I'm talking like, this is like 0.1% of a population of 100. There is always a dickhead out there that will try, but I'm not saying that will happen. I mean, it's very rare that you get mugged or anything like that, or robbed. Don't have your valuables out on show, for one. But how I overcome my anxiety and nerves is I just do it. I just, as Shia LaBeouf says, just do it. Yeah. Example, I went to my friend's wedding, miles away. First time been there, never been there at all, before. And I was nervous, and it was a setting, environment, which I was unfamiliar with, obviously, because it's a wedding. I don't go to much weddings. But I was just me. I just acted like, I'm not going to mould myself to that surrounding. I'm going to try and make that surrounding mould itself to me. And just be true to yourself. I mean, if you've got something to do, always try and achieve to go for that goal. Otherwise, you will always be sat thinking, oh, I wish I could have gone to that wedding, or I wish I could have played in a band, or, at least once. And what you're trying to do is build stories, and people become more interested in you. For sure, you get nerves. I've been in a band, and I played quite a lot of gigs, and I was nervous every single time. But having that little fear and butterflies helped drive me. It's like, well, I'm not going to let this overtake. I think you should get punched in the face at least once in your life. For someone that's never had a fight or anything like that and is always on edge, just get punched, even if it's by your brother, sister, girlfriend, boyfriend. Because as soon as you've been punched, you know exactly what's coming after that, you know what I mean? So you get that shock factor done. Whoa, oh, right, okay, my adrenaline's kicking in. And I know people don't want to have that to happen, but I do suggest it's a really good way of actually getting over a fear of something that's not happened. For instance, you could be anxious about having sex for the first time or something like that. That's a nervous thing, Is my body all right? Am I okay? Do I wear a t-shirt? Do I take my clothes off? For women, it's like, am I too fat? Even for men, am I too fat? He's not going to judge me. Am I disgusting? Are my boobs big enough? And men, it's like, oh, am I going to perform? Is my willy big enough? Me widgie? It doesn't matter. Just as long as you are you. If you're going to have sex with someone that you love and stuff like that, the size of all that sort of stuff doesn't matter. By the way, I'm adequate, okay? I'm good. My boobs are the right size. But yeah, this is how I overcome anxiety. It's just I throw myself into it. Otherwise, it'll own me. Yes, I'll be nervous, but them nerves kind of break down. They do break down. My mum had agoraphobia. She was afraid of going outside a lot. But I think that's to do with she had bad hips, and she's like, what if I fall and no one's around to help me and stuff like that. But I said to her, I says, look, just take a walk to Endett Street and come back. Or open your door and sit at the front door. Get used to that. And I actually took my mum on a walk to a place where I grew up, and she was nervous. She's like, do you think we should go home? I said, no. I said, in all fairness, Mum, I want to take you to a wide open field and I want you to scream at the top of your lungs. We've had a pretty dark past. My mum, my family, and me. Not my younger brothers. My younger brothers have had a cushy life, but me and my older brother, and next one down from me, we had a really, really hard life. We'll get into that a little more. And also, if you're anxious, don't go out alone. Go out with a friend or a family member. Like my mum, I took my mum out and I tried this experiment. And you know what? She loves it, and she's like, oh, remember, now she talks about, remember when we went to go see where, you know, you grew up, and we went past my primary school. I went past where I did the Cub Scouts. And it was doing something like that took her mind off the actual agoraphobia and anxiety of being outside, and she turned her mind to memories, although they weren't that good memories, but it helped as well, counselling wise, because she spoke about it. We spoke about a lot of stuff that she thought I didn't know, but I did know. And it was like a closure for her as well. And you know what? Now she goes on holiday abroad. And she does say, oh, thank you, you know, for pushing me. And sometimes it's harsh. You know, like if someone's depressed, it's like, oh, just cheer up. That's easier said than done. But to dwell on depression and things like that is putting a barrier on yourself. The strongest tool anyone has is their own mind, and sometimes they let their mind dictate what they should do. Now, if someone wants to be happy, yes, it's hard to be happy all the time. It takes a lot of energy, especially for me. You know, I can be moody, I can be grumpy, but I think that's just generally me being Yorkshire. I'm a grumpy bum. I've got a bit of a sniffle. I think I've got hay fever, you know. The sun's out. And pollen count and all that jizz. I had depression. I think I'll get into the subject of depression in another video. I think we'll just concentrate more on the anxiety thing today. So, if you're anxious, take a book out with you. If you're going to do like a nice little journey, just go on a bus. If you just get on a bus and go to nowhere, but make sure you ask the driver, does this bus come back? And I always thought, if you ever get lost, get off at a stop and cross over the road for the bus stop. Remember to take into account the number bus that you're on, so you can catch that bus on the way back to familiar surroundings. That's good, you know. And take a book with you, have a read, something to take your mind off of the fact that you're going to be in a new environment and things like that. So you can take a book, or you can take like a handheld computer. I mean, everyone's got a smartphone or an iPhone now, so everything's on that to take your mind off what is going to be going along and going around. Listen to music. You might even find, and this is me, I used to listen to Metallica when I worked at Treats. You've probably heard of Treats before on my podcast on Spotify. But the Injustice for All album, I listen to that album and it reminds me of when I used to walk to work. So maybe if you get on like a bus or a train and just travel anywhere, listen to like one of your favourite bands, and you'll find that you'll get a sense of nostalgia later on with that. There's a particular song or a particular smell or something like that, you know. And it'll remind you of when you just went off and did a nice trip, you know. That kind of helps your anxiety as well. You know, it gets... I say you know a lot, and by the way. I'm trying to venture into a lot more counselling and vlogging as well. I'm just chilled out on my couch here. And this is like my version of a Rorschach behind. It took 40 hours, but you can make of that what you want. You see, again. But try and not let anxiety rule you. Try and not let nerves stop you from fruitioning yourself, growing. You know, each person is individual. You know, there might be an artist inside you that just wants to create art, whether you think it's good or bad, it doesn't matter. No one can judge art because it's how you perceive things. And if you are anxious, just get a piece of paper and doodle on it. Just draw on it and name it whatever you're feeling at the time. Or if you're a musician, you know, write some music, record it, send it to Spotify or something like that. Or If you're a writer and you're nervous about starting a book, I think the very first place to start is the beginning, you know? Write about your own personal experiences, get a diary and stuff like that, and write about that. I mean, I remember a book that I read called The Secret Diary of Adrian Mole by Sue Townsend, and that was done diary formatted, you know, day 1, day 2, day 3, and that were brilliant. That book stuck in my mind. So, yeah, if you want to write a book but you don't know how to start by doing like a journal or a diary. And if you want to be an artist, just put pen to paper, paint to canvas, and just paint whatever you want to do. If you want a career change but you're nervous about family members and stuff like that, saying, oh, don't do that, you won't get as much pay as you are on now in your job where someone can replace you in the next day sort of thing. You don't want to work for that sort of company. If you want to do better for yourself and nervous about other people, fuck that. They're happy in their life being judgmental and stuff. You've got to think about yourself. Get on it. Change the way your appearance is. Have a new haircut. That helps anxiety as well. Get a new style of clothes if you want. Buy some new clothes. Put your makeup on a lot differently. Also, watch something on Netflix that you wouldn't normally watch. That's what I've done. Normally I watch all documentaries and stuff like that, but then I saw this thing called The Good Place, and it looked a bit too bright and hairy-fairy for me, but I pressed it and I watched it, and I'm like, oh, this is amazing, you know. I didn't read any blurb or anything about it or synopsis, and I just played it, and now it's a really good TV show. Always strive to do something a little different, and that's off-canter to what you're actually like, because you will grow as a person then, and then you'll, I don't know, just be less anxious about everything. If you have any comments about the conversation that I'm having, please put a comment below and hit the like button. If you're like, because I'm like an unbalanced sort of person, I do have a sister channel, or another YouTube channel, which is called Arcade Pops. There's only one video on there, but I would really like if you subscribe to my other channel, Arcade Pops. And that's just me doing arcades. You know, everybody needs a bit of fun in their life. So please subscribe, hit like, share to all your friends on social media, please. And hopefully, you know, I can do more videos like this if you think this helped you at all. It's a bit more serious as this one. Normally I joke about and stuff, but I'm really wanting to push the couch counselling a little more. And I might go live as well and do like a Q&A with people. And, you know, put comments and hit likes if you want to see that. But until then, I hope you found this informative. Thank you very much. I'll see you all in the next video. Tatty bye.